Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian and this is the Waiver Wire episode for week 9 of the fantasy hockey season. The season is quickly passing us by and I hope by now you do have a winning record. But guys, like I've been saying every single week, even if you don't, there is still plenty of time for you to catch up, make the playoffs, and then go on a run during the playoffs. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Like I mentioned last time, guys, I have opened my own merchandise store as well. So if you do want to check that out, just go to fantasytip.com and you can check out all the merch that I have up for sale. And now I've got a really exciting special announcement for you guys. I have finally gotten myself a co-host for Fantasy Tipped. His name is Max, and this guy is the real deal. He is a Yahoo Diamond rank player, and if you want to see how he's ranking this year and his overall ranking, you can check that out right up there. This guy is really, really good. He does crazy in-depth analysis, and I'm very excited to have him on board. Expect his first video probably sometime this week. So what this means for you guys is you'll be getting even more fantasy hockey content. I'm going to continue to do my 3 videos a week at the very least, and then you'll get even more videos from Max so that you get so much more content every single week to help you guys win your fantasy hockey weeks every single week. Stay tuned. Some great news, guys. We finally did it. We hit 5,000 subscribers, and I'm so grateful. That was my goal at the very beginning of the season, and we already hit it in week 9. So I'm so happy and so grateful to each and every one of you that have hit the subscribe button over the years. To all of you guys that have been with me since the very beginning, and to those of you that have just hit that subscribe button, thank you so much for all your support. And I hope that you continue to support me as I continue to put out videos year after year and continue to grow this channel. Really do appreciate y'all. And let's jump into the video now. And let's start with the schedule for this week. And as you can see here, guys, on Monday there are 6 games, on Tuesday there are 9, Wednesday there are 7, Thursday 5, Friday 10, Saturday 8, and Sunday 6. So while technically the off nights are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, the off nights aren't actually that important this week because there are no nights that are super busy. Yeah, Friday is pretty busy, but that's the busiest it gets. Other than that, you got a 9-game night and a 7-game night. That's not so bad at all. So go ahead and look in your lineup, but odds are you might have room pretty much every single night for an ad. Double check that you may not have room on Friday, so maybe don't be adding someone who plays on Friday. But other than that, guys, you're looking pretty good to add pretty much whoever you want this week. Now, in terms of team schedules, there are some teams that don't have the best schedule this week just because they play 2 games, whereas every other team plays 3 or 4 games. And those teams are Anaheim, Carolina, Chicago, Nashville, New Jersey, and San Jose. Those teams only play 2 games this week. So because off nights are not that important this week, the teams that have the best schedule are the teams that play 4 games. The teams that play 4 games are Arizona, Boston, Calgary, Colorado, Columbus, Florida, LA, Philadelphia, St. Louis, Vegas, and Winnipeg. Now, Florida, LA, and St. Louis have the best schedules out of those teams because they don't play on Friday, which is the busiest night. And if you do not have room on Friday, you might want to look at those 3 teams that I just mentioned. Jumping now into some forwards that you should consider adding to your team. And the number 1 guy on the list is Jeff Skinner of the Buffalo Sabres, playing top line and top power play for Buffalo alongside their best player, Tage Thompson, who is like a top 25 player in pretty much every league. Jeff Skinner himself has been performing a lot lately, been scoring a lot of goals, been scoring points. Overall, is definitely someone that should be owned in more than 60% of leagues. He's someone that I have had on this list a lot of times this year, and I think that he's probably going to stick on some teams this time around. Next, I have Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs, 51% roster, and he's playing on the top line with Matthews and Nylander, and that deployment is pretty freaking good. Now, obviously, Bunting was very cold earlier in the year, and I even had him on my drops list at one point. But he seems to finally be hitting up. And that's exactly what happened last year. He didn't start off the strongest, but towards the end of the season ended up being a very strong player to have on your fantasy team. Michael Bunting's pretty much locked to playing alongside Austin Matthews, and as long as he is playing there, he's definitely always got the potential to produce some points. Then I have Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks, and he has been unbelievably hot as of late. Started off the season so freaking cold, but over the last couple weeks has just been piling on points, and he's now a top 75 player in a lot of leagues, which is super impressive just considering how cold he started this year. Logan Couture is someone that I really like right now. Then I have Andrei Kuzmenko, who's been an absolute roller coaster this year with his ups and his downs. When he's up, oh my God, is he ever producing? Like right now, he's putting up a lot of points. He's just piling them on. But then he goes cold for like a whole bunch of games. Everyone drops him, and they're like, oh, this guy sucks. And he starts going off again, and you're like, oh my God, we got to add him again. So now I'm thinking Kuzmenko, that's just kind of how he's going to roll. And I think he's someone that we're going to have to keep on our teams even when he's cold, because someone else is probably going to add him for that upside that he has. Then I have Blake Wheeler of the Winnipeg Jets, and he also is insanely hot right now. Didn't start off the strongest, but he is piling on the points right now on that line with Cole Perfetti. Those guys are really piling on the points, and definitely worth an add if Wheeler's floating out there on your waiver wire. Then I have my guy, Boone Jenner, and you guys know on this channel that I really like Boone Jenner, and he's someone that just does it all. He'll hit, he'll block, he'll shoot, and he'll put up a lot of points. This year he's been putting up a significant amount of points, playing on the top line with Gaudreau, top power play. The deployment is there, and the production is there, because even when he doesn't score points, he's putting up peripherals, which is absolutely fantastic. Should definitely be owned in more than 41% of leagues. Then I have Alex Killorn of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's back on the top power play in Tampa Bay, which is great to see. And he has been producing a lot as of lately on the line with Stamkos and with Nick Paul. It's a good place to be for him, and as long as he's hot, he's someone that should be rostered. And next is my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Matty Beniers. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, guys, and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPPED. Guys, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays with Manscaped. Now, why is Matty Beniers my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, guys, that's pretty easy. He's on an insane hot streak right now. He has 11 points in his last 5 games, which is absolutely unreal, putting up more than 2 points per game on average, which is very, very, very crazy. And he's kind of making up for lost time here, because he went on an incredibly long cold streak. Matty Beniers at the beginning of the season was my favorite for the Calder Trophy, and he started off pretty strong, then kind of cooled down. He's finally back at it, and his whole line right now is producing. I like that line a lot with Jared McCann, who you guys know I love, and Jordan Eberle. This is a line that's looking really good right now, and as long as they're hot, all three of those guys could definitely be owned. And then I have Brandon Hagel of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and while he did cool down a little bit after I put him as my Manscaped must-add, of course he did, right? He's producing once again, and of course he is. He's playing on the top line with Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov. So while he might string together a couple of bad games in a row, the deployment is there, guys, and he definitely should be owned in more than 30% of the leagues. And then I have Nick Schmaltz, who I really, really like. I could have also made him my Manscaped must-add player of the video. He kind of had a delayed start to the season. He only started playing last week, but so far through 4 games has strung together 3 goals and an assist. He's looking pretty good right now in Arizona on a line with Keller and the top power play with Keller. That's someone that I'm looking at right now. Nick Schmaltz is someone that I really, really like adding to my team. Definitely should be owned in more than 26% of leagues. Definitely take a look at him for your team. Next I have Kevin Hayes of the Philadelphia Flyers. And I don't know what to tell you guys. I've had him on this list for a whole bunch of weeks, and he's still only 25% rostered. He is a top 100 fantasy player in most leagues. That's pretty good. I do understand that he's a natural center, and that position itself is not that valuable. But this dude is producing points every single night, and he has been doing so pretty much the entire season. So it's crazy to see that he's still only 25% rostered. Right now he's playing on a line with Joel Farabee, and Daily Faceoff, I know, says that it's the third line. It's not the third line. That's their first line. And he's still getting plenty of play time and plenty of power play time. I definitely don't mind adding Kevin Hayes to my team. Next I have David Krejci, and over his last 6 games, he has 6 goals and 3 assists. The dude is absolutely killing it right now on a line with Pastrnak and Zacha, and as long as this guy stays hot, he's definitely someone to own. A lot of you guys probably picked him up early in the season when he started piling it on to start the year. And I'm sure a lot of you guys in shallower leagues dropped him because he kind of cooled off a little bit. For those of you in deeper leagues that hung on, you're getting rewarded. Then I have Dawson Mercer of the New Jersey Devils. And yes, the Devils only play twice a week, but look at Dawson Mercer's game log. He's doing very, very well, putting up a lot of points. And he's playing on the line with Jack Hughes, which is a very good place for him to be because he's producing with that deployment. And he's also getting top power play deployment This guy's starting to heat up, so add him to your team before it's too late. Then I have Jared McCann of the Seattle Kraken, who I already talked about a little bit, plays on the line with Beniers and with Eberle, and that line's so hot right now. And for those of you that have watched the channel for a while, you guys know that I love Jared McCann, especially when he's hot. When they're giving him the right deployment, he always produces, and seems like they're giving him the right deployment right now. He's getting plenty of minutes. Definitely like me some Jared McCann. Then I have Cole Perfetti of the Winnipeg Jets, 12% rostered, looking really good on a line with Wheeler and Scheifele. As I talked about before, Wheeler is insanely hot, and so is Perfetti. He's coming off a 3-assist game and has been producing in all of his last few games. He may be able to get himself into the conversation for the Calder Trophy if he keeps this up. Then we have Jordan Eberle of the Seattle Kraken, only 6% rostered. And I had him on this list last week, and I told you that he's very, very hot, and he's continued that trend, playing on a very good line with McCann and with Beniers, and as long as that line stays hot, guys, Eberle should be way more than 6% rostered. Then I have Jack Quinn of the Buffalo Sabres, and he's someone that I really liked going into the season. I thought he might be in the Calder race. And while he started off pretty slowly, over the last 4 or 5 games, he has been putting up the points, playing on the second line with Cousins and with Peterka. I like that young line, and they have been producing. Then I have Sean Monahan of the Montreal Canadiens playing top power play, and he hasn't been too bad lately. He's been putting up a few points, and if you're in a deep league, Sean Monahan might be a pretty good ad for you. And then I have JT Compher of the Colorado Avalanche. And Evan Rodriguez was just announced that he's going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. So the injuries keep piling up for Colorado, and because of that, JT Compher is actually playing on the top power play with Makar, McKinnon, Rantanen, and Lehkonen. While he hasn't done anything yet with that deployment, that's a pretty good place to be. And if you're in a super deep league, I would definitely take a chance on JT Compher. Then I have Lucas Sedlak, and this is kind of an ad for a league that's pretty freaking deep, like really, really deep. Over his last 2 games, he has 4 points. He's playing on a line with Farabee and with Kevin Hayes. Now he's also playing on the top power play unit with Kevin Hayes and Farabee. Last game, that unit also had Cates and Provorov in it, and they played 80% of the power play minutes. This guy is getting some serious ice time and has been producing so far. If you're in a super deep league, definitely take a stab at him. And in other leagues, if he keeps producing, you might want to look at him as well. This is a guy who played 3 seasons in the NHL for the Columbus Blue Jackets, didn't do a whole lot, but then went to Russia and really started producing there. Now he's playing for Philadelphia, and he's getting a much better opportunity than he ever got in Columbus. Let's see what he can do with it. Jumping into defenseman now, and first on the list is Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers, and he's starting to heat up. Been putting up some points lately, and if he keeps that up, he may just knock Tyson Barrie off that top power play unit, because he hasn't been doing a whole lot. So we'll have to wait and see. If he does knock him off that top power play unit, Bouchard has even more value. So it's probably worth adding him now if he's available in your league. Then I have Jacob Chychrun and Shane Gostisbehere of the Arizona Coyotes. And both these guys are hot right now. Chychrun's coming off an injury and has looked very good since coming off of it. And Gostisbehere seems to have been rejuvenated by Chychrun's return. Both of them playing power play 1 with Keller and Schmaltz. Pretty good place for both these guys to be. Definitely both worth adds. Then I have Vince Dunn and Adam Larson of the Seattle Kraken. Now Vince Dunn is playing on one of the 2 power plays in Seattle. They both get a pretty equal power play time, so it's hard to say which one's the power play 1, but he is getting a significant amount of power play time, and he actually has been putting up a decent amount of points lately. Vince Dunn is not my favorite player by any means. However, this year, it's hard to deny that he actually has been producing a decent amount, and his peripherals aren't too bad either. Adam Larson, on the other hand, is a guy who literally lives for the peripherals. He puts up hits, he puts up blocks, he puts up shots. I would not depend on him for points at all, but with Seattle playing as well as they are right now, he may even be able to put up a couple of points because they just are scoring so much right now. Then I have Cam Fowler of the Anaheim Ducks, and while they only do play 2 games this week, he is playing very well, putting up a point every single game, it seems like, playing top power play for them and just playing so much better than Klingberg ever did. He's a guy that I told you at the beginning of the season, if he got the opportunity, he definitely would take advantage of it, and he has been playing on that top power play and definitely has been putting up the points. Then I have Rasmus Sandin of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and with Morgan Rielly out for a while, Sandin is the top power play guy in Toronto. Last game, he got a goal and an assist, and didn't look half bad. He's the guy who you're going to want to add, especially if you are a Morgan Riley owner, and he's someone that should be owned in a lot more than 19% of leagues. Then I have Justin Schultz, who has 10 points in his last 6 games. The Kraken are so hot right now, and he's getting a significant amount of power play time. He's not someone that puts up a whole lot of peripherals, but if points are what you're looking for, he's pretty hot right now. Definitely ride him while he is. Then I have J.J. Moser of the Arizona Coyotes, and despite no longer getting top power play time with Chychrun back, he still seems to be putting up points every single night. Very impressed by J.J. Moser. He's still getting a good amount of ice time because he's a very good defenseman. As long as he is still putting up points, he's definitely someone I'd look at. Just don't expect him to put up a whole lot of peripherals. And finally, I have Marcus Bjork of the Columbus Blue Jackets, only 1% rostered, but he hasn't been too bad, putting up some peripherals and some points, playing on that top power play unit in Columbus. And until either Boquist or Bean come back, he is going to continue to be that top power play guy, and that's why he's not too bad of an ad. Jumping into goalies now, and first on the list, and my favorite goalie probably to stream this week, is Karel Vejmelka. If he's still available, the Coyotes play 4 games this week, and none of them are back-to-back games. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, so Vejmelka realistically could get all 4 starts. Could be pretty valuable for your team, especially if you're in a points-based league. Now, I have John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks only played 2 games this week against Carolina and San Jose, but Gibson has been a lot better as of late, so if he's available out there, it might be worth adding him if you need a goalie. Then I have Jake Allen of Montreal Canadiens. And yes, I am a little bit worried about Allen. He has not been playing that well. Montembeault has been outplaying him. We're going to have to monitor that situation, but for now, I still consider Allen to be the starter in Montreal, and if you do need a starting goalie, Allen probably is going to turn things around. I think he's a pretty good goalie overall. And next I have James Reimer of the San Jose Sharks, 33% rostered, and I have a star next to his name because as I'm recording this, he is injured, but could be back before next week, and I expect him to be, but it's not guaranteed. We'll have to monitor that. The Sharks only do play 2 games, which is not ideal, but the games are against Vancouver and Anaheim, so they're a pretty bad team, so realistically, Reimer could get 2 wins if he is back. Then I have Peter Kochetkov of the Carolina Hurricanes, and he's doing very, very well for Carolina. Probably should be more than 29% rostered. For some reason, they're hell-bent on starting him and not Ranta. Ranta has been getting pretty much no starts. Kochetkov is the starter in Carolina. That's until Frederik Andersen returns, and then he'll be reassigned to the AHL. Then I'm taking a look at Spencer Martin of the Vancouver Canucks, 17% rostered, and he has been getting a decent amount of starts lately because Demko obviously hasn't been that great this year, although lately Demko has been doing better, so it kind of is a little bit weird that they are giving Martin more starts. But anyway, last game that Martin played wasn't that great, so we're going to have to monitor that situation, but if he continues to get starts, he's definitely someone that you could add to your team. Then I have Philip Grubauer of the Seattle Kraken. And what did I tell you guys about Martin Jones? He's not a good goalie. And you've kind of seen that over his last few games. Hasn't played that good. Philip Grubauer is someone that definitely could retake the crease if Martin Jones continues to struggle. Grubauer isn't that great himself, but I do think he's a little bit better than Martin Jones. So as long as he plays better than Jones, it'll be his crease to lose. If you're a Jones owner, you might want to add Grubauer just in case. Then I have Craig Anderson and Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen, who I like to call 6K, because that's how many Ks he's got in his name. 15% and 6% owned respectively, and it seems that they're going to be alternating starts 1-1-1-1 until Eric Comrie returns. They're both okay ads. 6K hasn't been doing that great so far. Had 2 very bad games and 1 very good game, so we're going to have to see if he's able to settle in a little bit to the NHL and show everybody just how good he can be, because last year he was amazing, and I know that he can be a very good goalie. And then finally, I have Alex Stalock of the Chicago Blackhawks, 9% rostered, and it seems like he's finally close to returning from his concussion. He's practicing, so it shouldn't be long until he gets back into that starter's crease. He has been the best goalie out of the 3 Chicago goalies this year, and especially with both Mrazek and Soderblom struggling, he's going to be the starter as soon as he gets back. Definitely you should be adding him, especially if you're a Mrazek or Soderblom owner, because he should get the bulk of the starts when he returns. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I just want to thank you guys once again for helping me hit 5,000 subs. I don't really think you realize how much that means to me. Honestly, it means the world to me. I put so much effort into these videos, so the fact that you guys are actually watching and enjoying these videos, it really does mean a lot to me. And I'm going to continue to grow this channel as much as I can, try to put out the best possible fantasy hockey content that I can to be the #1 fantasy hockey channel on YouTube. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tip.